I wasn't always a demon. A long, long time ago. In the middle of a city that no one sees stands a towering church with a spear-like steeple, and every other day the pastor gathers a large stoic herd of people. In the corner of the church that no one sees stood a short, skinny boy with black dead eyes, and every other day the pastor failed to hear the short, skinny boy's cries. See, this boy had gone to church his entire life, and to massive applause accepted God at 7. They pushed him into line, drilled into his mind, gave him a book so fine called How to Get to Heaven. The smiling elders told him, take a leap of faith, lest you slave in hell, because we are the sheep of God, who is the shepherd. A problem arose, 'cause on every rose there are piercing thorns. This boy who'd been told that he was a sheep looked into the mirror, saw that he had horns. To his despair, the large stoic herd of people cast him away and slit his throat. They told him his horns meant that he was evil. Unfortunately for him, he would never know that he was only a goat. I want to die because my people cry. Antichrist at every lie that they find. In the middle of self-righteousness that no one sees stood a short bloody goat there, quivering catch, and today and every other day the pastor gathers the sinful in a herd to dispatch. Yeah, so I'm a demon. It's pretty chill. I get to come out on Halloween and people don't bat an eye. But yeah, sometimes I get these memories. Like I wake up wishing I could wear a dress, and then I remember that I've already addressed the problem that I repressed for so long that I can hardly express the excess of progress that I repossess to stop feeling so depressed. Back in high school, I was a tinking time bomb full of constant tension that my self-invention was just athletic pretension masking the bit of me I was too scared to mention to myself. And I hate that I didn't wear a dress to prom, so as I danced with all my friends, I let myself fade away into the lingerie that I kept locked away deep inside my ugly brain. The next day I wore that lingerie to an anime convention, and I looked kawaii. I hate that it masturbates, fetishized transvestites, and hate that the rape that I downplay traumatized me less than the church that made me compartmentalize myself in order to exist. My internalized transphobia is a fossilized record of the dystopia of my mind. Cast aside, catastrophized the euphoria that I never realized that I could have if I just stopped hating myself enough to feel the words Viva la Gloria. dissect like a dying insect makes me erect, and I feel so much shame that the same thing that made me hate myself so much kept me alive for so long. And the last time I stole a pair of panties from the laundry basket of my home, I never gave them back. And the last time that my heart is with orgasmic ecstasy and I breathlessly arrived at such a transcendent pleasantry, I stuck my fingers in my mouth and I tried to puke out the guilt that the church had fed me all my life. By the time I broke the doors of my college, I was 18 and ready to climb the insurmountable pantomime that was the reconstruction of my temple. The sublime sensation of relief that I felt the day I was rebuilt enough to stop feeling guilt for being who I was and who I was never able to defeat, I believe, was like a coral reef rebounding from humanity's neglecting grief. The bits of self-destruction that survives my reconstruction will always stay as a reminder that I'm and will always be gay and trans, that I am here to stay, and that nothing that gets in my way will ever destroy me the way I was destroyed back in high school. Yeah, high school was a time for sure. I remember this one day, actually, the day I became a demon. It was a pretty great day, if I do say so myself. Content warning for suicide. I stepped out of the shower of my bathroom. I looked into the mirror at my eyes. They'd never been as red as they were that day, and I wondered what I'd done to get this way. I dried myself and stepped into my bedroom. I dressed myself and dried my curly hair. I ruminated on my damn depression. It agitated me, I do declare. I plopped down on my bed in sick despair. Frustrated, my happiness was elsewhere. A serrated knife I grabbed out of the kitchen. To end it all right there, my thought had been. I scraped the knife against my shaking arm. I watched the blood roll out onto the floor. Then I closed my eyes and thought about tomorrow. And when tomorrow came, it slapped me to the floor. When I woke up, my head throbbed and I felt woozy. But I looked down, but I couldn't see my legs. Everything was white and bright and shiny. Then a blurry form of black walked up to me. It said, "John, I think that you're a little early. I have you marked for several years from now. And look at all this red up on the floor. What a mess for me to clean up, what a chore." I tried to ask it if it was the devil, but my mouth didn't open when I tried. So I sat there as it mopped up all my blood. Then when it stroked to my cheek, a chill went down my spine. It leaned in close and whispered in my ear. Its breath felt like a frozen, fucked up tear. I closed my eyes and held my breath in terror. I wondered if I made a ghastly error. It said, "I could not believe you when you said to me that you are dead because your pulse is still so bright and cheery. You are not the reason that your life is such a mess. It's everything that's happened to the prick inside your heart that never left from that day long ago that you and I both remember. I was there and you were too, and we were both so full of despair for the world and everyone inside and all the pain that we have to hide. But it's not always quite this sad, and if you stop to see the lily pads under the bridge you cross every day, you just might find some beauty so sublime, and then you'll go into the world and smile like you never have before." The words that it had spoken touched my heart. I had a major change in my worldview. I gathered all the strength inside my body, and my mouth made out the words, "Fuck you." As I stared into its eyes, I saw the door that would take me away from this cruel earth. The creature inside it said, "Oh, what a waste." And then I smiled as I flew away from this place. La 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 la. Ra da 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 da. Again. more time. One more time. Death to us all, and to all a good night. All right.